Hello, hello, hello. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll give everyone a few minutes to get settled before we get started with the webinar. Appreciate everyone's attendance. And I will say good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Awesome. So we have a lot of information to cover during the webinar, so let's get started. Now, officially welcome everyone. I appreciate your attendance for today's webinar with HEC Paris Master's Program in Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is offered on Coursera. My name is Ada, and I am an enrollment counselor, and I am joined by my colleague Hardik, which is an enrollment associate also from Coursera. He will be monitoring the Q&A chat box with all of your questions, which he may be able to answer while we are, speaking on the webinar. Majority of the questions will also be answered at the end of the session during the Q&A session officially. Today we'll cover the program overview, followed by the program structure. We'll then cover the application process and provide further insights on how to prepare a strong application and discuss what you can do and what you can expect at the end of your degree. Then, as I mentioned, we'll end the session with a Q&A portion to go through additional questions with the help of our helper here, Miss Sarah, which is the program advisor at HEC. So if you have some time during the webinar, drop your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll take care of those in a few minutes. And as a reminder, the recording of this webinar will be sent over to everyone via email. Yeah, so today we have the special guest. We have Sarah joining us from HEC. She is the program advisor and will be sharing more information about the application process. She will discuss best practices and other recommendations for students to strengthen their application. I appreciate, Sarah, for you to joining us today. Would you like to share a little bit of an introduction?
Thank you, Ida. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm the program advisor for the MSIE and EMSIE programs, as well as the university certificates. I'm happy to be here today to share some tips and guidelines about the application procedures. Thank you.
Perfect. Wonderful. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about the program overview. Now let's start with some insights into HEC Paris, which is an institution that has been shaping the leaders of tomorrow for over 140 years and has an in-depth understanding of the impact of change. It is currently ranked the #1 business school in Europe by the Financial Times for the 5th year in a row, and takes lead as the top business school in Europe for educating CEO of Fortune Global 500 companies. The degree that they offer is completely online. It is also very flexible and has been designed for busy working professionals. So with this program, you will be able to study with the #1 business school in Europe without having to leave your home or your workplace. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Now, I want to briefly take a look at how the Innovation and Entrepreneurship program will prepare you for a career at an influential level. Your skills, your knowledge, and your mindset that you will develop throughout the program will allow you to deliver enormous value for others and become a valued asset for any management team. We usually get questions around what can I expect upon completing my degree, especially from those candidates that are not looking to develop their own business. So as you can see on the slide, this program is perfect for anyone who is simply looking to advance in their career, to be able to move into perhaps leadership roles as entrepreneurs, professionals looking to increase their career in earning potential, business leaders looking to foster an innovation culture, aspiring company founders, innovation consultants, and business development managers, to just mention a few. During the next slide, we will then share further insights into the recent graduate destinations. That way you can have real life examples of what students decide to do upon graduation. Now, as you can see on the slide, upon graduations, students will apply all of their newly acquired skills in range sectors, which would be technology, financial services, consulting, healthcare, energy, and many more. Majority of the students continue growth with their existing employer, often securing higher paying positions, perhaps growing into senior positions themselves with their current employer. But we also see a significant number of graduates that do start other positions with new companies, or perhaps those that do start their own business. I'll give everyone a quick second to screen share or take a picture of this graph for your knowledge. Now, we would like to briefly play this less than 2-minute video for you, which is a learner story from Felicia Callan. Felicia is located in the US, and she has embraced the Executive Master's Program in Innovation and Entrepreneurship to shatter barriers and unlock her full potential. Enjoy. I see a message. We may be having some technical issues. Hardik, do you mind pausing the video? We're having some audio issues, I see. So if you want to just go to the next slide. My apologies, everyone. We'll make sure to attach the link to the video for everyone to review on your own time. So my apologies. Now let's talk more about the program in general, okay? As part of the the success of the program in general, it's mainly because of the combined input from the academic faculty and practicing entrepreneurs in creating this rigorous curriculum. So by joining HEC, you'll be able to learn from world-class instructors who are highly experienced business experts and entrepreneurs themselves. You will also get to meet and network with other like-minded business professionals from all around the world, which makes me very excited to see lots of you joining the June cohort 2025 coming up. Now here you can see a demographic visual of what the current learners from the previous June 2024 cohort looks like, which shows you how diverse the program is in terms of professional backgrounds and different nationalities. As you can see, the executive track attracts more seasoned professionals in the senior leadership roles with averaging, I would say, 13 years of work experience, while the standard master's program usually attracts younger students with an average of 7 years of overall work experience. So when we look at the next slide coming up, we'll be able to review the program structure with more details. Now, there are 2 tracks or 2 pathways available with the program. We have the standard master's degree, and then we have the executive master's degree. So although both of these pathways share the majority of the program structure, I will be able to, describe and explain the difference between the two of them. This way, hopefully will help you determine which of the two tracks better suits your needs based on your interest. So starting with the standard master's program, which is listed on the right side of the screen. The standard master's program allows junior professionals to enter the degree requiring 2 years of significant work experience, as opposed to the executive track requiring 8 years of professional experience. Students in the standard pathway will have an opportunity to choose a leadership electives if they wish to learn more about organization in inspiring people. There will also be an additional non-credit block of business games, which will take place in the beginning of the program, for which I hear are extremely exciting and very innovative. For the executive track, you will need to demonstrate an extensive work experience in fairly senior roles in order to be accepted for the program. Once you're in the program, you will be able to benefit from the community building sessions, which are an interactive network session intended to help students to get to know each other and to prepare them for that team project phase, for which you will have a lot of collaboration with. The executive students will also have an opportunity to register for in-person workshops that will take place in Paris every quarter. These workshops will be dedicated with a specific topic each time and will be available for the executive students from all different cohorts. There is a limit of 30 participants for these sessions, so make sure to book your time and your place early on. For those that are not located in Paris, the same session will be available virtually. Now, when it comes to the program structure, so that I can give you a little bit more details, you will see information on both of the tracks together in this slide, because the structure of the program itself remains the same regardless of the path that you choose, okay? The curriculum will be divided in 2 parts, which will be the fundamentals phase and the team project phase. The fundamental phase is the first 6 months of the program, where you'll complete 10 courses and you'll learn how to scale up a company, boost creativity, manage new product development, and you will capitalize on social media and marketing. You'll be able to also clearly define business strategies. And each of these courses are designed to be completed within 4 weeks. During the second phase of the program, which is the last 12 months of the whole program itself, you'll complete the remaining 10 courses. We usually like to call this phase the team project phase. Here, you'll be able to apply everything you've learned throughout the program, and you will create a real world project, okay? You'll be able to take the project idea from inception, which can be whether in, let's say, product technology or business propositions. You just basically take that project idea from initial conception all the way through commercialization, and your business idea will be created and shared with your peers in the program via a video pitch. That way your peers can have a choice to, if they want to join your team to work with the project idea together. The team project, sessions are usually formed in a group of 4 to 6 students, and you will also work with a team mentor who will be chosen by HEC Paris as an experienced business leader and entrepreneur. Now, although there are no live lectures in the program, there are at least 2 live sessions per course that you can take advantage of. Live sessions entail instructor office hours and industry experts, and they typically take place in the morning and in the evening on Paris time. They're usually about an hour long, and they're all pre-recorded, of course. They will be recorded for those that are unable to attend. Now, in some of the live lessons, you will find instructors sharing additional insights that are not covered in the pre-recorded video lectures, And you'll also obviously get to interact with other classmates joining from all over the world. So as it is a fantastic opportunity that you can, take advantage of to go through additional questions with your professor and hear from business leaders in the field. So definitely encourage you to attend those as much as possible. What's in front of you, it's a visual representation of the program structure I previously explained. This is specifically for the executive track, which is 18-month program, okay? You will have a total of 20 courses to complete, and you will have those, grouped into different stages, okay? Hardik, do you mind sharing the link to the curriculum with everyone in the chat so that they can take a look at the information more in depth? Now, as you can see on this slide, you can visualize the program structure for the standard, 2-year program in innovation and entrepreneurship. So this program will be 24 months. Now, as you can see that there is a pathway additional in this slide, which is an additional 6 months for a thesis that you'll complete, where you'll pursue an individual research project and you will submit your business plan. So that's one of the main differences between the two tracks. Your thesis is the sum of all of your learned knowledge in the program, and it gives you a chance to prove your capabilities in your chosen field. So again, the detailed curriculum will be shared with you on a link where you can find information for both of these tracks. I'll definitely introduce you briefly on the next slide with the faculty members that are responsible to delivering this wonderful knowledge. Now, the HEC Paris faculty, features world-class academics at the forefront of research and teaching in business disciplines like strategy. You have organizational design, leadership, entrepreneurship, and more. Many professors have impressive real-world experience and are entrepreneurs, consultants, or corporate executives themselves. So the combination of research, teaching, and practical expertise allows HEC academics to bring cutting-edge ideas and knowledge to preparing the next generation of business leaders and managers. I love that. The academic director for the executive program will be Professor Sonia Sommer, and for the standard program will be Professor Denisa Mindruta. You will be able to learn more about your professors and the instructors during your onboarding course in the beginning of your degree. Now let's talk about student support, okay? During every step of your journey in the program, you will have access to a dedicated online program team who will be able to guide and advise in a range of different queries that you may have. All of students will receive tutor support and feedback, and you will be able to interact with your instructors during live sessions on Zoom, where you can ask in-depth questions on your course material. Now, for real-time chat with peers, you can use Slack, which is the online communication tool that you will have access throughout your journey in the program. You will be added to the public channels for every fundamental course. There are also private cohorts during channels for team project phases where you can join the non-academic channels as well. And you'll be able to, hear from other learners, their hobbies and their interests, and you perhaps can coordinate live meetups via Zoom. So lots of community, lots of interaction on the Slack channels. Definitely take advantage of that. You will also be able to receive entrepreneur support along the way, from dedicated office hours to pitch training sessions, opportunity to benefit from HEC alumni mentoring program, and apply for seed funding from HEC Ventures. Now, for technical issues, you will speak with the support representative from Coursera using our live chat, which is available 24/7 via the Live Help Center. Definitely support it all the way through. Now, the next slide will be information regarding the fees associated with the program. The cost of the standard master's program, which is a 24-month program, is 22,950 euros. And the executive program, which is the 18-month program, will be 24,950 euros. Your tuition will be divided into 4 installments, so you don't have to pay the full tuition up front, okay? Instead, you will do a 5,000 euro deposit, which will be due in the first 15 days after your admissions offer has been granted. And the remaining 3 installments will be due at month 3, 6, and 9 after initiating the program officially. So I have information on the specific installment amounts on the slide, but depending on the program, of course. And your payments will be made online directly to HEC via credit card, bank transfers, wire transfers, and you'll utilize your student portal to take care of those payments. Now, although there are no scholarship options available at the moment, students are often exploring possibilities of employer sponsorships as well as bank loans. For French residents based in France, you can also tap into your CPF funding with this program. I do want to take really briefly an opportunity to share with you the what they call the early bird special, perhaps, which allows students that are able to complete their application by March 3rd, a tuition discount of 2,000 euros. So with that said, the application must not only be submitted by March 3rd or before, of course, but it means that your application has to be completed by the end of day of March 3rd to qualify for this wonderful opportunity. And this will also include the references, the letters of recommendation that you need with your application. So definitely doable. Do not miss this opportunity. Now, what are those admission requirements for each program? Let's talk about those. For the executive track, the applicants must have a bachelor's degree, and it can be in any field. You do have to, you are required to have at least a minimum of 8 years of professional experience, a potential project idea, and have good command of written and spoken English. Your professional experiences in innovation and entrepreneurship, should guide your choice on a program path, and you will be able to play, the success of the application in general. So this will be very good for you. Now, with the standard pathway, which is the 24-month program, if you have a bachelor's degree, you will need to have at least 2 years of significant professional experience. In the event you don't have a bachelor's degree, you will need to demonstrate a minimum of 6 years of significant professional experience to be able to qualify for the standard program, okay? On the next slide, I'll review the application process. We'll go over the recommendations for strengthening your application, for which I will pass it along to Sarah to share more.
Well, thank you, Ida. So here is the application checklist. I'll give you perhaps a few seconds to read them or perhaps to write them down. Thank you. Perhaps we can go to the next slide now. You can also find this checklist on the internet as well. So to begin with, you select the name of your program. Please be aware that we have 5 programs here. We have 2 master's degree and also 3 university certificates. Make sure to choose the right program. It happens a lot that candidates, they confuse the executive pathway and the standard pathway. The names are quite similar. Sometimes candidates, they also confuse the master's degree with the university certificate. So please pay attention. On the left side, you can see the list of the sections that you need to complete. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to go through all the sections, but I will present the most important parts. Please note that you do not have to fill out these sections in order. I always advise the students to start with the recommendation section, because we all know that professionals, they're quite busy, they do not have the time, and you don't want to miss, for example, the deadlines because one of your referee is not responding. So please make sure to start with this recommendation section and also follow up on your referees as quite often as you can. The recommendation section, this is basically what you target and what you attack first. And then there are three important parts in your application. You have the essay questions, you have the whole application, and also you have the video pitch. So how do you choose your referees? Please select your current or your former manager, director, supervisor, someone in a higher professional position as we speak. You can select referees from the same or different companies. Please do not choose your colleagues, do not choose your family members. They're not acceptable. If you're an entrepreneur without any immediate manager, you can perhaps select an important client, a happy one, I precise. Or you can also select your business partner as your referee. For the executive students, 2 professional referees are required. As for the standard pathway, we would love to have also 2 professional referees, but however, if it is not possible for you, we can accept 1 academic referees. But I'd like to open a parenthesis mentioning that we prefer professional referees. As I mentioned earlier, make sure to follow up on your referees. Let them know that the whole evaluation, it takes only a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. They might as well be watching TV and, evaluate you at the same time. So you will receive an automatic email once your referee submits his or her evaluation. And if that is not the case, it means that your referee still has not replied. So make sure to follow up on them. If for any reason you feel that one of your referee is too busy to reply, you can contact us and we have the possibility to add someone else. So in that case, you're not going to lose your time waiting on someone who's obviously too busy to reply. And also note that once your referees, they reply, you have this automatic email, which is also reassuring to know that they have replied. I have also lots of candidates who ask questions regarding their resume, how good or how long the resume needs to be. To be honest, we're not looking for something fancy. It needs to be up to date with your latest information, remove outdated skills, and please add any new skills that you have learned. Whether it could be the certificates or if you have some volunteer or some work trainings, it's a good idea to add them to your resume. We love well-organized resume, meaning that they're easy to read and navigate. We have received in the past a resume which was 30 pages. This is too long. Please don't do that. 1 page or 2 pages, that's more than enough. And make sure to highlight your accomplishments as well. You want to highlight them and perhaps make sure that they're easy to find and easy to read on your resume. The other part, which is also important, and we have lots of students who ask questions about, it's the video pitch. So basically, what is the video pitch and how do you prepare it? So the video pitch, in order to prepare that, you need to answer to 2 basic questions. Why are you applying for this master's degree? And how this master will contribute to the achievements of your professional objectives. So these are basic questions to which you reply, but in the meantime, you can also talk about briefly. You can talk about your professional experiences. You can talk about your educational background. You can talk about your goals or any future projects. And I want to insist relevant to the program. If this is something that's not relevant to the program, perhaps this is not the right time to talk about it during your video pitch. You have 3 minutes. This is the moment for you to shine, so make sure to organize these 3 minutes wisely. As I mentioned, the relevance of your current or your future projects to this program is highly important. Why do we prepare this video pitch? The whole goal of this video is to convince the selection committee that you are the right candidate for this program. So you're basically telling them, I'm the right candidate, pick me. And basically, this is the whole point of the video pitch. On the side note, make sure that you are motivated, make sure that it is the content of the video pitch is concise, it is engaging. And then there are some technical parts with regard to video pitch. The length of the video should be between 2 minutes 45 and also 3 minutes 30 seconds. If this criteria is not met, they're going to reject the video and you're going to have to do it all over again. A 20-minute video pitch is not going to make it, so please don't do that. Upload the video on YouTube, and I insist that this applies to everyone. Do not contact us and tell us, I don't feel comfortable doing that. This is something that everybody does. This is the rule. So please do that. The link needs to be public. Otherwise, we cannot watch the video. If you want, you can also, there is this setting that you can also turn it into unlisted. And of course, you can remove the video once you're admitted, but not before. Other points about the video, you need to be in the video. So you can use perhaps a PowerPoint presentation, but we need to see you because the whole point is for you to pitch yourself. We're not looking for a presentation. If you want to use a few slides to talk about yourself, your jobs, it's okay, but you also need to be on the video. Obviously, the video pitch needs to be in English. You can take a look at your notes from time to time, but it's not a reading session, so please do not read from your notes. And I would strongly advise you to rehearse a few times before recording the video pitch. So rehearsing it will give you confidence to better deliver the message. And one point that is really important, do not use any artificial intelligence. As cool as it sounds, we do not want something fancy. We want something simple. We want to see you. And we also want to see that you're able to present yourself. So as simple as possible, without using any AI. What else? So we talked about the referees. We talked about the video pitch. Now, the other important part on your application would be the essay questions. So you have a few questions to which you answer. The selection committee, they go through these questions quite carefully and they decide whether or not you're the right candidate for the program. Please do not use the ChatGPT because this will eliminate you. Use your own words and make sure that you are concise. They're quite selective, so please make sure to provide enough information for each question. We're talking about 2 paragraphs for each question. So if it is possible, avoid bullet points and boring list. Please explain in your own word. I also recommend you to reply to this bonus questions. Students, they get lazy at the end of the application. They don't feel like, because they think that this is a bonus question. I don't need to answer that, but please do, because this will add an additional value to your application. It will help strengthen your application, and this is where you can stand out. So if you have the time and energy left, please do that. Answer to the bonus questions. You're also required to communicate 3 strengths and 3 areas of improvements. Some candidates, they talk about their strengths, but they leave out the areas of improvement. Do not be afraid. It is also a human, you're being human, because you also have areas of improvements, but do not shoot yourself in the foot either. So some areas of improvements are really red flags, so you don't want to go to that department either. So stay relevant for the strength. If you're good at singing, it's not relevant to the program. Please do not mention that on your application. Talk about something relevant to the program, something that will make them pick you rather than someone else. I'm going to give you a few examples. For example, in the past, we had this candidate who talked about lack of motivations, and he said that he basically never gets anything done. That's a huge red flag. Goodbye, we're not going to see you again. So there was also another candidate who talked about how he was not a team player, knowing that we have a huge team project. So these are the things that you don't want to mention while you're finishing your application. What else can I tell you? The GMAT part is optional. And also, on a side note, there is no need to translate any document as long as we can understand them and the document is official. You do not need to translate anything. So basically, this is what I had to say. Ida, over to you.
Thank you so much. Very informative. Thank you very much for that time. Now, what happens once you have all of your documents and you're ready to submit your application, and what happens after you submit your application, right? So in order to submit your application, you need to submit a 100 euro application fee, which is non-refundable. You will then attach all of your documents, submit your application. Your application will be reviewed by the admissions committee, and that decision will get sent to the associate professor, which will provide the final review. Now, for those that are in the process of applying for the June 2025 cohort, you do have an application deadline of April the 25th, 2025, as listed on the slide for classes, which will scheduled to begin on July the 7th. But as a reminder, we do have the early bird special going on. If you're able to complete all of your documents on or before March 3rd, you will receive a 2,000 euro tuition discount. So do not let that opportunity slip. Now, once you complete the program, let's talk about that a little bit. Once you successfully complete the program, you will receive your degree certificate, which will be awarded by HEC. And this is applicable for both tracks, the standard and the executive track. A common question we usually get is, will my documents mention Coursera? Will my documents say anything about online? Rest assured that there will be no indication of your degree or your official documents, being transcripts, for example, that your degree was completed on Coursera or that you completed anything online. A physical copy of your degree certificate will be sent via mail along with your transcripts for the executive track. But for the standard master's program, the final certificate will be shared with you electronically, okay? You will be invited to a graduation ceremony in France, which I think is super exciting. This time, you will be able to join the rest of the cohort and, of course, the faculty. The graduation ceremony usually takes place in the month of June. However, HEC will notify students with specific dates and times for the, next cohort available, right, for the next celebration. This is definitely an exciting time. You get to meet all of your classmates for which you have spent a lot of time working closely on your team project. So for those that are able to attend, I definitely encourage you to do so. If you are, however, interested in seeing what that activity looks like and that ceremony looks like in general, Hardik will be sharing on the chat a link to the ceremony, graduation ceremony for the June 2023 cohort, so that you can review it at your time. Now, if we go to the next slide, we'll talk about graduation. What happens after? After graduation, you will become a member of the HEC Alumni Association, which happens to be ranked the #1 alumni network in the world. It has some notable alumni, including former French presidents Francois Hollande and the Michelin CEO, Jean-Dominique Senard. What's remarkable about the HEC Paris is that it has over 72,000 alumni based in 152 countries. That is extremely impressive. So with that in mind, members will help organize over 1,000 events every year, and these events will take place all over the world. So everyone has an opportunity to participate. Now, beyond that, you'll have access to over 7,000 job offers, which are exclusively reserved for HEC alumni in France and internationally. And you'll also take part in the ongoing training workshops and webinars. You'll have access to one-on-one career counseling and, of course, access the HEC Paris Incubator in Station F, which happens to be the biggest startup campus in the world. So lots of great opportunities. This is a very exciting, program in general. Lots of support, lots of community. Do not miss this opportunity. Now, with that said, I would like to transition over to the live Q&A session, the last part of the webinar. That way we can answer all of the questions that are still pending and more to come. If you have not been able to submit your questions, you still have a few minutes to do so. I do see some questions on the chat box. We'll take care of those momentarily. So let's see. Sarah, I may need your help with some of these. They seem to be in a different language, perhaps in French.
Sure. Sure. Well, for your information, the master degree is in English, so you need to be able to communicate in English. That's a good start. Someone asked the question whether or not the master degree is online or whether or not it's happening on the campus. So it's 100% online. As for the executive pathway, we have 1 or 2 sessions that happen on the campus. So you have one session from 10 to 12, another session that happens in the afternoon from 2 to 4. And every year we try different professors in different subjects. So every year it changes. And this year, for the first time, we have decided to organize an on-campus onboarding courses. In the past, we would organize webinars that it would be like the first day of the school happening online. But this year, we wanted to give the students this opportunity to participate and to meet the staff, the professors. This is obviously not mandatory. You're more than welcome to participate. And if that is not possible for you, there's going to be an online onboarding courses as well. There is also another question in French. So for the English level of proficiency, we do not require you to pass any test. Your English level will be evaluated through me and Ida. So if you're able to communicate and to also engage in the conversations, the written skills are also important. We're requiring more or less a C1 level, but it is yet again evaluated through the interviews that you have with us and also the video pitch. Another question. Let me see. All right. I am a small business owner with several years of experience, but my business is seasonal and hasn't had a high volume of sales. Which course track would be a good fit? So it depends on the number of years of professional experience that you have. If you have less than 8 years of professional experience, I would advise you to go for the standard master. If you have more than 8 years of professional experience, it means that you are in a pool of more senior candidates. Then the executive MSc in Innovation and Entrepreneurship would be more, it's a more suitable fit for you.
But
All
there is
right.
one,
So, yeah.
just fundamental phase, whether you cannot. Every single,
No.
all of the projects are
No.
mandatory.
It's not a supermarket. You cannot come in and take whatever you want. Sorry. So, no, you need to take all the exams, and there is a schedule. There are certain courses that you need to take so that at the end of the courses, you have your diploma. I'm afraid we have had candidates in the past who wanted to take just a few courses because they just wanted these courses. That's not an option. I'm sorry. Ida, would you like me to take the next question or?
Okay, please do. Thank you.
All right. I want to know if, well, we do not take any apprenti. That's what they say in French. We do not take any internship or any type of internship program. So no, I'm sorry that the answer is no. How can we check if they failed recommendation or no? Well, there are two ways. You can either send them an email and asking them, did you reply to the evaluation? Or once they reply to the evaluation questions, you will receive an automatic email on your platform telling you that this person has replied. So that's also a reassuring way of knowing that they have replied. If you haven't received an email, it means that they haven't replied.
We have a question about the early bird special.
All right, for the scholarship deadline. Well, it's not, I'm sorry, it's not a scholarship, it's a tuition discount. Does it include all right, yeah, that's a very, very good question. So you can submit your application, but it doesn't mean that you, even before the before the March 3rd, but that does not mean that you are eligible for the early bird because you can also submit an application which is not complete. So yes, the referees, they need to reply and everything needs to be in order. For example, in the past, one of the candidates did not feel like doing the video pitch, so he shared with us a link just to be able to submit his application. So although he submitted his application, it was not complete. So you need to make sure that the referees reply, that the video pitch is good, that you have answered to all the questions. And that is basically the definition of a complete application.
Thank you for going over that. Alexis is wondering if we have a fall cohort. For HEC, is that considered more like a winter cohort, which will be the December one?
Well, we have 2 cohorts per year. There's one in June and there is also one in December. So you take your onboarding courses in December and the courses, they will start in January. So yes, I would say that you could say one in the summer and one in the winter if you want, depending on what part of planet you are. Actually, if you're in Australia, that's not going to be your summer. What else? The team project. So everything is online. For the team project, you are also placed in small groups of 5 or 6, and you have the professor who's going to guide you through the whole project. But we want to give you autonomy, so we leave it up to you, up to these 5 or 6 people, to whether or not they want to meet up once per week, whether or not they want to meet through WhatsApps, through Teams. We don't want to micromanage you, so you're also free to discuss within your classmates and to pick a time. If you feel comfortable to talk to each other every day, you're more than welcome to do so. If it's once a week, so it is once in a week.
What is the process to confirm if the recommendations have been received? Is that something they can see on their
This
end?
question, I don't see that question.
It's for Davadron. How can I check if my supervisor submitted recommendations?
Well, I believe that we already answered to these questions. So if they submit an answer, you will receive an automatic reply on the platform. You can also call them and kindly ask them to do so, saying that it's going to take 5 minutes of your time. Sometimes some of the candidates, they reached out to me. They said that it's my boss. I don't feel comfortable putting pressure on him. So I don't mind if for, emergency cases where that person is going AWOL and does not reply, and that you do not have anybody on earth to use as a referee, I would do that. But yet again, these are for emergency cases. Question. Is there max year experience required? There is no maximum of the more the merrier. So if you have lots of experiences, I believe that we had a candidate last cohort who had more than 25 years of experience. He was quite a senior candidate, and we were more than happy to welcome him to our cohort. So there is no maximum year of experience, but there is a minimum, Can I submit my application? Yes, you can always submit your application, whether or not they reply first or no. You can always submit it. The tricky part is to have them reply before the deadline if you're aiming for the early bird promotion.
I would need your language skills for Dennis' question.
All right. He's giving us a compliment saying that the presentation was really good. So Ida, this one is for you. I didn't talk that much. So how does the team phase work if you have already completed some courses? Well, if you with the university certificate, it's quite simple. You have 5 courses and you're basically reducing some of the workload. So if you have taken already MTC1, let's just say Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship University Certificate, you have already taken 5 courses out of 20. It means that the other candidates, they have 20 courses to do and you have 15. So you have less courses to do with less workload. And instead of taking at the beginning, at least, instead of taking 2 courses at the same time, you're taking 1 because you have already taken the other one. It does not mean that you will start later. You're starting at the same time with them, but you have a less workload to do. I hope my answer is clear enough. Should the reference provide a detailed written responses? That's a very good question. I believe that at least 2 or 3 lines would be necessary, because in the past we would have these questions. What are the strengths of the candidates? And he would say that something like, well, he's a good team player. It's not enough. We need more details. If they can elaborate a little bit on the whole, it's going to take 5 to 6 minutes. So if they can, use 2 or 3 lines at least. We're not asking for paragraphs, but a small explanation is appreciated. Well, another question. For MSc program, if one of my referee misses the deadline for the discount, am I still qualified? Well, you can, the March 3rd is the early bird promotion deadline. It doesn't mean that if you miss this deadline, you're just missing out on the reduction, because the real deadline for the application is April 28th. So no pressure. Everything's all right. If you miss the first deadline, there's going to be another deadline, which is the end of April. So if you feel like one of the referees, yet again, they're not replying, go ahead, send us an email. I'll add someone else. And you can also let them know that this deadline is important for you because it's 2,000 euros we're talking about. Please reply. I need 5 minutes of your time. Please do it. Hopefully they reply.
Can you confirm the amount of letters of recommendation? It's 2 for each pathway, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Just
Sometimes
the impression is only 1 for the standard math.
No, 2. And sometimes if one referee is not good enough, meaning that if the person had replied with 1 word, sometimes we feel like we need more. And in that case, I'm asking the candidates to provide me with a plan B. Can you give me someone else? Because I feel that your application is not strong enough. I would prefer to present a more solid application. So keep in mind that you have to. Perhaps if one of them is not, let's just say the answers is not long enough, or that person was too busy to provide correct answers, perhaps you can keep in mind to have someone as a plan B just in case. Yet again, these are exceptional cases. You don't have to have 3 referees, rest assured. Can you take more than one university certificate? Of course. So we have currently 2 university certificates. The first one is called Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship University Certificate. The second one is Leading Innovation with Creativity. So I do not advise you to take them both at the same time because it's going to be too much. I advise to take one. You start with the first one, MTC1, and then you take the second one, and then while you're taking the second one, you can apply at the same time for the one of the master's degree. And you also, there is a section in the education section, non-training part. Please mention that you have taken these courses because we have lots of candidates and we do not automatically change whether or not you have taken any university certificates before. Because if you have validated these courses successfully, you have a 4,000 euro tuition discount. If you have taken one U-cert, and if you have taken 2 U-certs, you have 8,000 euro deduction. And sometimes candidates, they fail to mention that they have taken these courses, and they're quite surprised when they don't have the discounts. So it's gonna be a chaos. We need to change your contract. So please go ahead and do mention that in the non-training section, in the education section. We also take into account your performance. So if you have performed well, if you were a serious student, these will be taken into consideration. The jury always asks whether or not your grades are good. If you're failing all of your exams, it doesn't look good on your application. So please be serious. Please study hard. Let me see if I have any more question.
Like a
So
second
if you,
part
yeah.
certificates. There.
If you have taken a university certificate, do you finish your, you're not going to finish your master faster. As I mentioned, there is a schedule, there's a starting date, and there is an ending date. You cannot fast forward, you cannot finish it sooner or later. It means that you have a less workload to do. Sometimes when others are taking 2 courses at the same time, you're just taking 1 course, and that's the advantage to have more time and to have less workload, obviously. All right. Is this fee eligible for tax deductions in the EU, particularly in Germany? Are you talking, what fee are you talking about? Are you talking about the tuition promotion, the 2,000 euro tuition promotion? This applies to whoever submits a complete application. So no matter where you are, if you have submitted a full complete application before this deadline, this discount is yours. There is also, of course, the admission fee, 100 euros. Please do not contact me and ask me to waive it. It's out of my hand. If you're talking about the other fee, I'm afraid this is out of my hand and this applies to everyone. So we do not waive this fee either. And
He's confirming he's referring to the cost of the program in general with his.
so yeah, the cost of the program, it applies to everyone. We do not have any, I'm afraid we do not have any scholarship. The only opportunity that you can benefit from is the early bird promotion. The deadline is March 3rd. Go ahead, submit your application. You still have time, you can make it. So yes, this is the only opportunity that we have currently in the pipe. All right. Can I easily apply for any job in France or any other European country after the master? I'm living in Paris right now. Well, the thing with the program is that it will open a lot of doors for you. You're having a diploma from a very well-known school, the first business school in Europe. But then you also need to do the work, because when you apply to the program, within the second month of your enrollment, you have access to the alumni network. So this is really up to you how social you are, how you use this opportunity to network. Because when we say entrepreneurship, we also say network. So it's really up to you how you use this opportunity. The opportunity is here, and then it's really up to you to use it. We're not going to tell you, all right, you finish your master's degree, here is a job list, please apply here. This is not going to happen. You have lots of opportunities. You have lots of connections with people in the alumni network. You can have office hours with the professors. You're learning lots of materials with the master's degree. You're learning how to pitch your ideas. So basically, we're giving you a lot of things, and then it's really up to you to take them and grab the opportunity and use them. So it's really up to you. Did I answer to all of the questions, Ida? I do not see any more questions.
Yeah. Yes, I do not see any additional questions. We're on top of the hour anyways, for this session. Before we wrap up, I do encourage anyone to reach out to me, the enrollment counselor on Coursera side, so that I can assist with any additional questions that you may have.
Oh, yeah, there is one last question. Sorry to interrupt you, Ida. Can someone still pursuing bachelor's degree be eligible to apply for the program degree? So the minimum requirement to apply for the program is to have a bachelor's degree. So if you're still pursuing it, it means that you do not have your diploma. So the answer is no, unless if you have other diplomas and you're just taking a second bachelor's degree. So you need to have a minimum requirement, and you need to have at least for the standard pathway 2 years of professional experience after your diploma. It means that if you're working at the same time within your diploma, it means that you are not working full-time, meaning that they're not going to count them. They're going to count them as internships or a part-time jobs, which does not go with the criteria. And one last question, I'm going to be quick. Would you like to answer that question, Ida?
Well, it's a little confusing if you're asking if you get a deposit. I lost
It disappeared. I saw the question. Yeah, the question just disappeared. So yeah, the tuition deposit, it's a good question, because the tuition deposit is 5,000 euros and it is required within 15 days of your admission. So if you're admitted in February or in March, we're expecting you to pay it, because it will give you access to the courses. As for the rest of the tuition, it is divided in 3 parts, equal parts, give or take. We're talking about 5,000 something. And we remain quite flexible. It means that if you want to add a few more installments, we can go up to, we already have 3 installments. We can go up to 2 or 3 more installments. So 6 installment maximum, but then you need to come up with a payment plan, meaning that you will send me an email telling me, well, Sarah, I'm comfortable paying in February, in March, in October, in December, and these are the amounts that I can pay. Does that work for you? We do not have to accept it. I'm going to propose it to the finance team and they'll take a look at it. And if they're comfortable, they can either accept it or modify it. But the tuition deposit amount, it remains unchanged. So you need to come up with that amount in order to be able to access the program. You can contact your bank to have a quick loan. You can also talk to your employers. If you never ask, the answer is always no, because you are also learning skills, and these skills will contribute to your current job. So go ahead and talk to them and ask them whether or not they can sponsor just a small part of your program. It doesn't have to be the whole tuition. It could be just the tuition deposit, for example. And for French, well, for candidates with French contracts, you can also dig into your CPF. That's also a good opportunity. And yeah, basically these are the financing options that are available.
I appreciate that very much for explaining, Sarah.
Sure.
We're top of the hour. Hardik, if you don't mind dropping the link to the my calendar invite, so that way everyone can schedule a meeting directly if you have additional questions, any questions that we may possibly didn't have time to go through today, maybe some questions that you think about later on. Schedule a meeting. Let's have a one-on-one conversation, and I'll be able to assist. But for now, I do appreciate everyone's attendance. Thank you so much for participating, and thank you, Sarah, for your assistance and
Thank you,
Hardik.
Aida.
We'll see everyone on the next one. Have a good one.
Bye.